for another happy hour edition of SportsCenter. I am Matt Barry. We're going to do some hoops tonight. We have a couple of closeout games in the NBA. We're going to preview those. Plus more NFL draft from Booger McFarland, and we skate with PK Subban. Our starting five has baseball and football injury updates, so let's get into it with the number one thing you need to know on the starting five as the Lakers at home trying to close out the Rockets tonight in Game 5. LeBron might get some help with Austin Reeves hoping to play after missing a month with an oblique strain. Houston's hurting. No KD because of an ankle sprain. You can catch the action right here at ESPN, 10 p.m. Eastern. As we welcome in our NBA reporter, Dave McMenamin, in L.A. for Game 5. So, Dave, what's the latest on Austin Reeves' potential return tonight?
Yeah, Matt, we're 1 day shy of a 4-week absence for Reeves because of that grade 2 left oblique strain. The good news is that Tuesday he went through a full practice with the Lakers at their facility, and it's all going to come down to how his body responds to that extra workload as he's been ramping things up towards tip-off tonight. If he's able to go, that's when J.J. Redick said he'll make the determination of just how many minutes that Reeves will be able to play. Think back to February. Reeves came back from a month-long absence because of his calf. He came off the bench. Now, the Lakers do recognize that they need to have a strong mindset coming into a potential closeout opportunity. J.J. Redick said, we got to try to kill them. And it's difficult to kill somebody because their survival instincts will kick in. Luke Kennard, who's had a great series thus far filling in for Austin Reeves, said it's going to come down to matching their physicality and their aggression, and that they worked on some schemes at Tuesday's practice to contend with all the trapping defense that the Houston Rockets played with in Game 4, which caused the Lakers to have 20-plus turnovers.
Yeah, look, getting that final game is the hardest game to get. We'll have that sound from J.J. Redick coming up just a bit on SportsCenter. And by the way, I got to brag on Dave for a minute. We talked about this on the 2 p.m. SportsCenter. Fascinating article right now on ESPN.com covering LeBron James with 23 unique questions over 8 cities. 23 is paramount in the story. If you want to know why, go check it out. Dave McMenamin, thank you so much. As we move to number 2 in our starting five, the East top seed, the 60-game winner, the Pistons, backs against the wall, trying to stay alive in Game 5 against the Magic. They scored a season-low 88 in a loss Monday. Not a great time to be slumping. Orlando might not have Franz Wagner in his 20 per game because of the calf strain. As we welcome on Om Young-Masuk, our NBA reporter, joining me now from Detroit. So, Om, what's the latest information on Wagner's status for tonight?
Matt, this is a pretty significant development in this series. Obviously, the Magic are up 3-1 in the series, but Franz Wagner did not participate in the morning shoot-around, and this strained right calf could have his status remain uncertain if the Pistons are able to extend this series. I watched him walk out of the arena this morning. He definitely walked gingerly. Paolo Banchero said, we are not expecting to play with Franz Wagner tonight. This all, of course, benefits the Detroit Pistons, who remain a confident team, as confident as the team that won 60 games this year. Jalen Duren said, I still believe we're the better team top to bottom. And J.B. Bickerstaff told me earlier, he said, we are going to come out punching. We are not going to lay down. I promise you that.
And by the way, we're going to have Kendrick Perkins on later in the show. We asked him about this. Can the Pistons come back and win this series? His quote was, oh, hell no. We'll see if that changes tonight when we have Perk on in just a bit. Om Young-Masuk, thank you so much. And it's no secret that Cade Cunningham, we know he's the engine for this Pistons team. In the time Cade has spent off the floor in this playoff series against Orlando, the Pistons' overall efficiency is 30 points lower compared. The Pistons won 60 games but are on the verge of losing in round 1, so suddenly the attention turned to the Celtics, who looked like they were poised for a run. But after last night, where the Celtics looked human and the Knicks dominated the Hawks to take a 3-2 series lead, is the balance shifting in the East? Are we overreacting? Is it all of the above? That's why we made it the subject of our Take 2.
On Saturday morning, Mike Brown was getting fired. Now, the Knicks are going to the finals. That's what it's like living here.
We've seen Mike Brown reminding everybody why he's the former coach of the year.
We will have a different perception of the Knicks, at least in the short term, before they get into the next series, and then we'll form new impressions.
This professorial approach that he comes up with this morning, we ain't going for it. Hell with all that. We New Yorkers, you damn right we excited.
With Atlanta, Game 6, don't fool around with the game. Don't play around with your food.
I'm sitting in Madison Square Garden for a big game, and my eyes cannot leave the Celtics and Sixers with the Celtics throwing in a clunker.
They took 39 threes last night and they made 11. They couldn't throw the ball in the ocean in the fourth quarter.
They have issues at home. They have had issues at home in the playoffs stemming back a while now.
Bad body language they had in this game, as if they thought the series was over. I certainly thought it was over.
So I'm going to have that going 7, I think.
All right, so that's our take 2. We're going to make it take 3 with my guy, Kendrick Perkins. Yesterday on the 2 p.m. Sports Center, we asked him, could the Pistons come back in this series as the top seed against the Orlando Magic and get the win? Perk, your quote was, hell no. Okay, now I've got Franz Wagner unlikely to play for the Magic. I'm going to ask you again, are the Pistons still cooked in this series?
And I'm going to tell you again that they will not come back in this series. And my answer still stands what it did yesterday, Matt. Hell no. I'm not saying that they're not going to win this game tonight. I just don't see them winning 3 in a row against the Orlando Magic because the Orlando Magic has their number. Styles make fights, and the NBA playoffs is all about matchups, and they match up well. From a physicality standpoint, they have more talent, and when you look at the Orlando Magic, even without Franz Wagner being in the lineup, they still have they have more offensive weapons than the Detroit Pistons has. Right now, the Detroit Pistons are struggling to find a bona fide Robin. Right, Jalen Duren is a guy that they depended on in the regular season, but now the Orlando Magic has taken away his rolls to the basket, his dunker spot drop-offs. Who are going to be the guys that's going to step up and replace guys that they had last year like Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Dennis Schroeder, who came in off the bench and had a positive impact? That's not going to happen. They're going to continue to struggle offensively, and the Orlando Magic eventually is going to close out and win this series.
There you go, sticking with it, which is why Perk, along with other people, thought going into the playoffs that the Celtics were the class of the East, especially now if Detroit gets eliminated. Now, we know the Lakers are 1 win away from advancing, and their coach, well, J.J. Redick, he had an interesting metaphor about it yesterday. I want you to take a listen.
We have to kill them. You know, you have to. It's difficult to kill someone. You know, you've got to. Again, survival instinct says I want to stay alive, and so you've got to be able to kill them. And that's what's difficult.
All right, homicide aside, and like a true crime podcast.
Jesus.
Like, I kind of want to know how J.J. Redick knows it's hard to kill someone.
Right.
How do the Lakers knock off the Rockets? Just beat them. Don't kill them, but just beat them.
Well, one, they're going to have to come with a must-win mentality because it is a must-win. You don't want to continue to give this Rockets team any confidence, and also you want to put them to rest because you got OKC next round if they do win this. And so you expect role players to play better at home. We know LeBron James, he's going to be locked in. That's why he's one of the all-time greats. But you need guys like Luke Kennard, who was held under 10 points in Game 4, to step up. You need a guy like Marcus Smart to step up. He was held under 10 points. Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton, can he stay on the floor? They're going to have to match the Rockets' physicality. To be honest with you, Matt, I actually got the Rockets winning this game tonight in L.A. and pushing this back to Houston.
So the Rockets will not get killed tonight, which is good for everyone and their families, but also the Lakers are going to extend the series. Remember, kids, violence is not the answer. Kendrick Perkins is. Perk, great stuff. Looking forward to catching up with you later on the NBA playoffs. A pair of playoff games tonight. Raptors, Cavs, the fun, 7:30 Eastern. Rockets, Lakers, the nightcap tonight. Coverage begins. NBA tip-off, 6:30, featuring Ernie, Charles, Kenny, and Shaq. Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh with his best bets tonight.
Thank you, Matt. 2 player props in the association tonight, beginning with Donovan Mitchell going over 27.5 points, coming off an absolutely brutal Game 4 in which he shot 6 of 24 against the Raptors. That was his second worst shooting effort in 74 games this season. Big bounce back coming for a guy who loves home playoff games in Cleveland. He's played 15 of those, 28 or more points in 13 while averaging 31 points per game. Elsewhere, let's look at LeBron James going over 7.5 rebounds. LeBron James's rebound numbers always pop in the postseason. He's a career regular season rebounder at 7.5 rebounds per game. That number jumps to 9 in the playoffs. So far in this series, 8 rebounds, 13 rebounds, and 4 rebounds. That 4-rebound effort is what's keeping this price cheap. Why did it happen? Well, it was a blowout. Houston didn't miss many shots, and James was out of the game early, playing limited minutes. So tonight, we expect him to bounce back with a big night on the glass.